House will please be in order. Those persons not having privilege of the floor will please vacate the chamber. Members and guests in the galleries will please rise as we are led in prayer today by the gentleman from the 88th District, Delegate Hillenbrand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is Scouting America Day at the Capitol. Please prepare yourself for prayer in the words of the 12th point of the Scout Law. A scout is reverent. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with gratitude for the opportunity to serve. Grant us wisdom as we deliberate, clarity as we debate, and integrity in every decision we make. Help us to be mindful that our work affects families, communities, and future generations. Guide us to act with courage when it is difficult, patience when decisions are long, and respect when opinions differ. Strengthen us to be trustworthy in our words, loyal to the people we represent, helpful in our service, friendly in our conduct, courteous in disagreement, kind in judgment, obedient to the rule of law, cheerful in challenge, thrifty with the public trust, brave in conviction, clean in motive, and reverent toward you. May we seek not personal gain, but the common good. May our actions today reflect honor, duty, and service. Amen.
Please remain standing as we are led in the Pledge of Allegiance today by the gentleman from the 78th District, Delegate Shirelli.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members and guests may be seated. Reading of the Journal.
Journal of the House of Delegates, March 6, 2026.
Gentleman from the 28th, Delegate Browning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask that unanimous consent that the further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that it be approved as having been read.
Gentleman from the 28th asks unanimous consent that further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that it be approved as having been read. Are there objections? No objections are heard. Introductions. Gentleman from the 61st, Delegate Jeffries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With us today, we have students from Herbert Hoover. Paging, we have Kemp Meyer, Riley Dunnigan, Abby Dunnigan, and they are escorted by Holly Dunnigan. If they would stand and everybody make them feel welcome.
Lady from the 15th, Delegate Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today in the North Gallery, I have a guest from Work County. He's our Work County Board of Education president and also the West Virginia School Board Association's Fiscal Year 2027 Financial Officer, Mr. Dan Metz. If you could please help me make him feel welcome.
From the 58th, Delegate Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also have some pages here today representing Herbert Hoover High School. They recently competed in the 3D Archery Regionals. Would they please stand and be recognized? Miss Alex Woody and Dalton Bennett. Please give them a warm welcome. Thank you.
Gentleman from the 23rd, Delegate Worrell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, my 12-year-old daughter Charlotte wanted to shadow me today, so if she would stand up, and if the House please make her feel welcome.
From the 53rd, Delegate Levitt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My 8-year-old daughter, Reese, is here with us today as a page. If she'll stand, and everyone please make her feel welcome.
From the 35th, Delegate Vance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have 3 pages with us today from Walman County, Road Branch Elementary, Middle School, Miss Riley Atkins, Kiana Cooper, Daphne Hendricks. They're escorted by their moms, Kim, Marissa, and Robin. If they would stand, and please everyone make them feel welcome.
Gentleman from the 11th, Delegate Fehrenbacher.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues and friends. On behalf of the delegates from Wood County, I have the honor of recognizing a group of visitors from Scouting America. They are in the South Gallery, and I would ask that they stand as I introduce them. Bentley Sherman, Jude Venderlick, Luca Mahoney, Hakeem Oliver, Ava Strock, Drew Strock, Connor Dauphin Hughes, and Cameron Smith. They are accompanied by Troop 20 leader Dan Sherman, Charlotte Dauphin, and Jenna and Lucas Griffith. Please give them a warm West Virginia welcome.
Lady from the 56th, Leggett Young.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be joined by a page. If she would stand, we've got Sophia Schmidt. She's in 7th grade at John Adams Middle School. If everyone would make her feel welcome.
Gentleman from the 33rd, Leggett Bridges.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today we have some kids from Logan Middle School, James Cox, John Cox, and Elijah Robertson. If they don't know where they are. And their chaperone is Erica Lockhart. If they'd stand, and House, please make them feel welcome.
Lady from the 19th, Douglas Kraus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I too have a page here today, but I'm not sure. I think he's in the back. I have Cameron Casto. He's a 6th grade homeschooler from Putnam County. He is joined by his mom, Courtney, and his sisters, Caroline and Harmony, if they would stand up. Oh, and here's Cameron right here. Wave at everybody. If the House can please make them all welcome.
Gentleman from the 88th, Douglas Hillenbrand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of Delegate Cannon and myself, Hampshire County is pleased and well represented today to have 4 pages. And I'd like to introduce their principal first. Principal Amy Haynes in the West Gallery has brought a delegation of 4 pages. And if these pages would please stand, we have Haley Cunningham, Claire Kessinger, Addison Piles, and Claire Millison. And they're also accompanied, Haley's mom is here, Brittany. Coincidentally, her principal's her grandmother, too. So grandma's here as well. Claire's mom, Angela, and Brian Edwards are here accompanying her. And Addison has her mom, Tammy, and Claire has her mom, Emily. So if you'd all give them a warm welcome. Additionally, I'd like to introduce a number of folks that are here for scouting today. In the South Gallery, we have representatives from Laurel Highlands Council, their Scout Executive, Todd McGregor. If you'd all stand as I read your names. Their Chief Development Officer, Tracy Berkey, a DE and Camp Ranger at Camp Potomac, Andy Mackert, and Marketing Chair, Lindsay Seibel. From Buckskin Council, which is local right here, just down the road if you wanted to go to their headquarters, we have their Scout Executive, Jeff Purdy, and Larry Wonderly, who's the Assistant Scout Executive. From Shenandoah Area Council, representing parts of the far eastern panhandle, we have Tom Labos. I'm going to mess it up. Sorry, Tom. I've known you for years. Labowski, who's the Scout Exec. Penny Beatty, who's the Membership VP. John Collins, who's a District Executive. We have also from the Bechtel Summit. This is where the National Jamboree is held each summer. Up in the gallery, we should have Nate Rendall, who's the Director of Program, and Ryan King, who's Head of Marketing. We've got some scouts as well. Local council, the Buckskin Council here. Troop 195, Amy Dodd and Lou Lewis, if they'd stand. From the Shenandoah Area Council, Troop 1957 of Falling Waters, Assistant Scoutmaster Tammy Mowry, Committee Member Samantha Rhodes, Scouts Nathaniel Rhodes, Hayden Show, Lincoln Kendra, Nathan Kendra. And I think I got them all. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but if you'd all welcome them.
Gentleman, the 64th, Douglas Burkhammer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to welcome in the South Gallery Lewis County Senior J.P. Alkire. If he would stand, let's make him feel welcome today.
From the 46th, Delegate Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Delegate Riley and I are pleased to announce that, sponsored by the West Virginia Academy of Family Physicians and celebrating the 37th anniversary of the Doc of the Day program, our family doctor today is Dr. Sherry Young of Morgantown, West Virginia, a graduate of the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine in Lewisburg. Will the House please give Dr. Young a wild and wonderful West Virginia welcome?
Are there further introductions? Standing committee reports.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration Senate Bill 556, modifying priority of insurance coverage for drivers of certain vehicles provided by entities, and reports the same back with the recommendation that the bill do pass, but first be referred to your Committee on Finance.
Report to be received. Gentleman, the first.
Mr. Speaker, unanimous consent that all committee reports be taken up and read first time.
Gentleman, the first asked unanimous consent that all bills reported to the House today on reports of standing committees be taken up for immediate consideration and read a first time. Are there objections? No objections are heard. Gentleman, the first.
Mr. Speaker, unanimous, the two chairs having conferred unanimous consent to the second reference to your Committee on Finance be dispensed with for Senate Bill 556.
Gentleman, the first asked unanimous consent that the reference to the Committee on Finance for Senate Bill 556 be dispensed with. Are there objections? No objections are heard. The clerk will please read the bill the first time.
Senate Bill 556, modifying priority of insurance coverage for drivers of certain vehicles provided by entities.
Bill will be advanced.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration Senate Bill 796 relating to distribution of West Virginia reports, and reports the same back with recommendation the bill do pass.
Report to be received. The clerk will please read the bill.
Senate Bill 796 relating to distribution of West Virginia reports.
Bill to be advanced.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration committee substitute for Senate Bill 473 creating felony offense of using electronic device to threaten violence, and reports the same back with amendment and the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass as amended.
Report to be received. Clerk will please read the bill.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 473 creating felony offense of using electronic device to threaten violence.
Bill to be advanced.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration the committee substitute for Senate Bill 167 relating to meetings for local levying bodies. Committee substitute for Senate Bill 233 clarifying qualifications to be licensed to administer polygraphs. Senate Bill 586 modifying requirements for public water systems. Committee substitute for Senate Bill 603 relating to Property Valuation Training and Procedures Commission. Committee substitute for Senate Bill 703 adopting Social Work Licensure Compact, and Senate Bill 755 removing state agencies' requirement to submit annual reports for certain businesses, and reports the same back with recommendation that each do pass.
Report to be received. Clerk will please read each bill the first time.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 167 relating to meetings for local levying bodies.
Bill to be advanced.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 233 clarifying qualifications to be licensed to administer polygraphs.
Bill to be advanced.
Senate Bill 586 modifying requirements for public water systems.
Bill to be advanced.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 603 relating to Property Valuation Training and Procedures Commission.
Bill to be advanced.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 703 adopting Social Work Licensure Compact.
Bill to be advanced.
Senate Bill 755 removing state agencies' requirement to submit annual reports for certain businesses.
Bill to be advanced.
Your Committee on Finance has had under consideration the committee substitute for Senate Bill 945 permitting Adjutant General to pay employees during federal government shutdown or furlough, and reports the same back with the recommendation that the bill do pass with a title amendment and that the bill do pass as amended.
Report to be received. Clerk, please read the bill.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 945 permitting Adjutant General to pay employees during federal government shutdown or furlough.
Bill to be advanced.
Your Committee on Finance has had under consideration a committee substitute for Senate Bill 402 Workforce Readiness and Opportunity Act, and reports the same back with the recommendation that the bill do pass as amended.
Report to be received. Clerk, please read the bill.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 402 Workforce Readiness and Opportunity Act.
Bill to be advanced.
Your Committee on Education has had under consideration a committee substitute for Senate Bill 890 changing certain school calendar requirements from days or months to hours, and reports the same back with amendment with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass as amended.
Report to be received. Clerk, please read the bill.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 890 changing certain school calendar requirements from days or months to hours.
Bill will be advanced. Other standing committee reports at this time. If not, select committee reports, executive messages, Senate messages.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has concurred in House amendment to the Senate amendment and passed committee substitute for House Bill 4022 CPS allocation.
Message to be received.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has concurred in House amendment to the Senate amendment and passed committee substitute for House Bill 4433 prohibiting human smuggling and trafficking.
Message to be received.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has concurred in House amendments and title amendment and passed committee substitute for Senate Bill 84 prohibiting law enforcement from placing surveillance cameras on private property.
Message to be received.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has concurred in House amendments and passed committee substitute for Senate Bill 659 prohibiting certain restrictions on regulation of accessory dwelling units.
Message to be received. Other Senate messages at this time. Resolutions, petitions, bills introduced, motions, unfinished business, bills on third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 137, modifying parole eligibility for crime of second-degree murder and voluntary manslaughter.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, Gentleman from the 55th, Douglas Akers, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee substitute for Senate Bill 137 increases penalties for the minimum time served for second-degree murder and voluntary manslaughter, increases parole eligibility dates for life sentences, clarifies the definition of felony crimes of violence against a minor child, and also clarifies that victims and prosecutors may appear at parole review hearings in person or by electronic means. That's the description of the bill, Mr. Speaker. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman from the 25th, Douglas Hornbuckle, is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman yield, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. What was the fiscal note on this bill?
There actually is no fiscal note. This is, when we have increases to criminal penalties, we generally don't have fiscal notes that we add into the system on these bills. While it may increase the amount of time that someone serves in prison, one of the issues you'd have with a bill like this is the current parole eligibility for first-degree murder is 15 years. However, the average individual who is convicted of first-degree murder generally isn't released on parole, if ever, until somewhere in the 20-plus year range. So you couldn't just take a straight number and say, well, if we're going to take this from 15 to 25 years for parole eligibility, we're just going to add in the $50,000 per year that it takes to imprison or incarcerate someone and just add that number in for 10 more years to get to a number like $500,000. You can't do that calculation because you can't actually say how much longer the person may be incarcerated.
So while we don't know specifically, there will be an added cost.
Well, anytime you imprison someone longer, there will be a cost to that. But again, we can't say for sure how much longer individuals may be incarcerated, but this does increase penalties and it will increase the potential for someone to be incarcerated longer. Yes, sir, and that costs money.
Is there a cost for certain departments within our corrections facilities, let's say hospice or those being treated with dementia? Do we have a figure on what those are costing us right now?
I can tell you again, it takes about $50,000 per year to incarcerate someone in the what you would call the regular portion of the prison system. I can't tell you what the additional cost is off the top of my head for someone who's receiving that specialized medical care.
Okay. In regards to the homicide, is it possible that somebody could be charged with first degree without actually killing someone?
Well, you said homicide. Every murder is a homicide, but not every homicide is a murder. So give me an example of what you're talking about.
So let's say that you and I are in a situation.
This would never actually happen, by the way, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right.
Correct. It's hypothetical. Okay? So hypothetically, you and I are in a situation, and I'm the lookout for the delegate and the 55th, and it's a burglary.
It's a first-degree murder. I'd say it's an. I apologize. Go ahead. You're going to ask a question.
So it's burglary, right? So
Yes.
I'm the lookout. You're going in with no intentions, all right, to harm anyone. Things go awry. Accident happens. You end up killing someone.
Felony murder.
But I'm outside. I'm the lookout. I didn't know that you were going to do that. I didn't harm anyone. Could I potentially be a foul of first degree?
Well, I guess let me take one step back from that and say, from a policy standpoint, when you say you didn't harm anyone, you did participate in what you knew was going to be a felony. And when you commit those types of felonies, there's obviously a reasonable chance that someone could be injured or killed in that situation. So while you may not have been the person who actually committed the killing, under West Virginia law, we consider that to be felony murder because you knowingly committed a felony you're guilty of that resulted in someone's death, even though you weren't the person who directly caused the death. So yes, sir, you would also be charged with that crime.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Also, did this bill take into account potentially stripping away incentives for people that are incarcerated for good behavior in regards to parole?
Well, you mean people who are currently in prison? This would not apply retroactively if you're talking about those folks. But anyone who is sentenced prospectively under this law, it again would increase the amount of time that you would be incarcerated if you were subject to these penalties.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Permission to speak to the bill?
Yes, the gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would just urge the body to, again, proceed with caution. This is a very, very costly bill. Years 24 to 25, we expanded our prison costs by over $75 million, and it keeps rising. Currently, right now, our capacity in our jails is at 105%. We are hemorrhaging money for this. And while I know that we have to make sure that the punishment fits the crime, I don't believe that we are paying attention to our fiscal status. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there further debate on the bill? Chairman, the 50-50 closed debate on the bill.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I will just quickly say that I agree there are fiscal implications for imprisoning people, but this bill does deal with the most violent crimes generally that we encounter in our criminal justice system. And, I would also say the focus of this bill in terms of the increases in the parole eligibility hearings, that was victim-centric. And we certainly should be mindful of folks who are incarcerated, and if they have the ability to be rehabilitated and put back out in society, we should try to achieve that goal. But many times we just don't talk about the victims at all, and this was meant to provide it so that the victims in these first-degree cases in particular don't have to start appearing at parole hearings before we know that the defendant is going to be released, which is a painful and difficult process for the victims. And to the gentleman's point, I would also say that prison is expensive. We should talk to our folks back home about increasing our community corrections programs for the nonviolent offenders, not these people in this bill. These are violent offenders who have killed someone. But for the nonviolent offenders, we can certainly talk about and have conversations about community corrections for nonviolent offenders. I would urge passage of this bill, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Debate on the bill has been closed. The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. We had 95 ayes, 0 nays, and 4 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 137.
Are there title amendments?
Delegate Akers moves to amend the title.
The question now is on adoption of the title amendment. Those in favor of adoption of the title amendment will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. The chair declares the title amendment adopted. The title as amended by the House will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Senate Bill 155 relating to adjunct teaching permits.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, Chairman of 77th, Douglas Statler to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under this bill, a county may hire an individual with an adjunct teaching permit to fill a vacant position, offer a new course, or supplement an existing program only if no certified teacher in that subject area is available and accepts the job. To qualify, an individual must either have a college degree in the content area or at least 4 years of experience in that field. They must also pass required criminal background check and cannot have any felony convictions or offenses involving misconduct with a minor. The adjunct permit is valid for 1 year and may be renewed only if the teacher meets a basic performance standard through an evaluation. Each year, the county must repost the position. The bill also requires that the adjunct teachers be assigned a mentor teacher to complete student safety trainings with their first 90 days of employment. Adjunct teachers may not provide special education instruction, and counties must publicly post and announce any adjunct positions. That is a brief summary of the bill, and I urge passage.
Question again is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. We had 89 ayes, 6 nays, and 4 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Senate Bill 155.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title is read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 467 allowing enforcement of Purple Heart parking spaces taken by non-Purple Heart recipients.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bill was advanced to third reading yesterday with an amendment pending. The clerk will please report the amendment.
Committee on Energy and Public Works moves to amend the committee substitute. This is HEPW AM number 13-3.
The question now is on adoption of the amendment just reported by the clerk. Are there objections to having the amendment read in lieu of, of having the amendment explained in lieu of having the amendment read? If not, gentleman from the 88th, Douglas Hillenbrand, is recognized to explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a very simple amendment. The committee amendment as adopted provides that no person may be convicted of a violation of this section if they produce evidence that they or their passenger is a valid recipient of the Purple Heart Award. And that is the amendment. I urge adoption.
The question is on adoption of the amendment just explained. Is there debate on the amendment? If not, those in favor of adoption of the amendment will please say aye. As opposed will please say no. The ayes have. The chair declares the amendment adopted. Are there other amendments to the bill? If not, the clerk will please read the bill a third time as amended.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 467, allowing enforcement of Purple Heart parking spaces taken by non-Purple Heart recipients.
The question now before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, gentleman from the 88th, Douglas Hillenbrand, to explain the bill.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. This bill amends one section in traffic code that concerns the parking privileges of a person with a mobility impairment. It adds a definition for Purple Heart. It allows any public entity, place of public accommodation, and commercial facility to designate any of its parking places for Purple Heart recipients by marking such parking place in purple color, adding Purple Heart or the Purple Heart symbol on or at the parking place, and posting a sign or instruction declaring such parking place to be designated for Purple Heart recipients. The bill prohibits others from parking in such a designated parking place with fines starting at $200 for the first offense conviction, $300 for the second offense conviction, and $500 for subsequent offense convictions. And the sign designating the Purple Heart parking place would have to advise of the potential $500 fine. I recommend we pass this bill. I'm sorry. I recommend passage of the bill, sir.
Question now before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman the first, I got McGeehan's recognized.
The sponsor yield.
Yes.
Just a question. What would happen if a Medal of Honor winner or a Silver Star winner or an Air Force Cross winner parked in one of these spots? Would they get fined?
Excellent question. The amendment we just passed actually addresses that. So assuming that they could produce evidence that they actually were a recipient of the Purple Heart, they would not be fined.
Right, but I mean a medal above the Purple Heart, like the Distinguished Service Cross, Air Force Cross.
Right.
They would still get fined if they parked in a Purple Heart designated?
If they were not a recipient of a Purple Heart, I believe that's correct.
Okay.
Question still is on passage of the bill. Is there other debate on the bill? If not, does the gentleman wish to close debate on the bill?
Thank you.
Question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 96 ayes, 0 nays, and 3 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 467.
Are there title amendments?
Delegate Anderson moves to amend the title.
The question is on adoption of the title amendment. Those in favor of adoption of the title amendment will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. The chair declares the title amendment adopted. The title as amended by the House will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 592, West Virginia Short Line Railroad Modernization Act.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, the gentleman, the 12th, Doug Chris, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill would amend provisions of the West Virginia Code to add a new article to be known as the West Virginia Short Line Railroad Modernization Act. The bill would create a new tax credit to be given against personal income tax, business franchise tax, or corporate net income tax. The credit would be equal to 50% of the qualified short line railroad maintenance expenditures or qualified new rail infrastructure expenditures for a short line railroad company located wholly or partly in West Virginia and classified as a Class 2 or a Class 3 railroad by the United States Surface Transportation Board. The credit is limited to $5,000 multiplied by the number of miles of track owned, leased, or operated in West Virginia by the taxpayer for the short line railroad maintenance expenditure, and $2 million for an individual project, or $5 million per year for new rail infrastructure expenditures. The credit authorized but not used may be carried forward 5 consecutive years and may also be transferred or sold. The tax commissioner is to report the credit to the governor, Senate President, and Speaker of the House 3 years after the passage of the bill and every 2 years thereafter. The credit would become effective January 1, 2027, and sunset after July 1, 2031. Mr. Speaker, I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? From the 25th, Douglas Hornbuckle is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman yield? Thank you. Within this legislation, are the number of projects that can occur, is that capped?
No, number of projects are not capped, but the dollars are capped.
But the dollars are capped. So it could be any amount of projects, correct?
That's correct, but still the cap would, for the credit,
Yes, sir.
would happen. Now, they can obviously spend more money every year as they deem possible for their own business, but the cap is still in effect for the credit.
Yes, sir. And I apologize. What organization is seeking this?
It is the short line railroads.
And is this bill, do we have a total fiscal note of what it approximately could be?
The estimate, if every dollar was credited for on an annual basis, you're looking at $7.4 million of tax credit.
$7.4 million of tax credit?
Per year.
Okay, okay. And is this the same bill as Senate Bill 722 as last year?
Yeah, this is the same bill that got vetoed last year. It passed both the House and the Senate, and the governor vetoed it last year.
And the governor vetoed. Okay. On what grounds did he veto?
I believe it was on the, I don't remember exactly what was in the veto message, but I think it was the amount of credit, the tax credit was.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Permission to speak to the bill?
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I appreciate the work. I believe I myself probably voted for this last year. And the concept I appreciate, but I'm a little bit cautious again about the timing. Again, last year this bill was vetoed by our governor. I will read you not all, but some of that message. Part of that excerpt. First, the state cannot afford Senate Bill 722 at this time. It would create the West Virginia Short Line Railroad Modernization Act, giving short line rail companies 2 new tax credits to be used to offset personal income tax, business franchise, and corporate net income tax liabilities. He goes to say that those credits are calculated at a rate is nearly double the available credit for tourism development projects. Also, providing a 25 to 35% credit against the state sales and use of tax tourism development cost, and significantly higher than the comparable federal railroad maintenance credit. Later in that letter, he also says that this is not the right way to do tax reform. Again, I don't have a problem with the bill, but I think the timing could potentially be problematic. Also, we spend a lot of money this session. We have spent a lot. Obviously, we know we've had a ton of money that's gone to our HOPE program as we have expanded that. There have been several economic development projects that I agree with, and I think they're going to yield a high ROI, but we have spent. Just last week, we had to bail out the coal industry, met coal. And we had to bail out met coal because, and I'll say it, my president made a bad deal. And the tariffs have cost our miners. And I'm not sure if he made that deal in China, Mar-a-Lago, or maybe even Epstein Island. But nonetheless, he made a bad deal. And so, body, all the money we're spending, we better rein this in. We better rein this in. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there further debate on the bill? Gentleman from the 12th to close debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As one of our traditional industries in West Virginia, to be able to move product from within the state of West Virginia to outside our state of West Virginia and within, the railroads have become very, very necessary to move our products. Though I'm in the river transportation business and have to fight the railroads to be competitive, it's one of those things that they are a necessary competitor. Well, the national railroads have decided to create this short line railroad type of business so that the people that run these short lines, and the one that comes to mind right away is the very line that runs right behind the Capitol campus, and it runs all the way to Columbus, Ohio. There are 3 or 4 that I am familiar with. We have one in the Parkersburg area, and they are a necessary part of being able to move these bulk tankers, especially, to our chemical plants up and down the Ohio River. They need to be able to be competitive, and we need to be able to help maintain the infrastructure so that our expansion and revitalization of the manufacturing happens in this country over the next few years, that we've got access to proper rail along with water transportation and trucking. Mr. Speaker, I urge passage.
Debate on the bill is closed. The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. We had 89 ayes, 7 nays, and 3 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 592.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title is read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 650, designating psychiatric hospital that treats exclusively civil and forensic patients.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, Gentleman from the 72nd, Doggett Riley, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill would amend the definition of an eligible hospital to include a licensed psychiatric hospital with an annual inpatient census mix greater than 95% of court-ordered forensic or civil and voluntary commitments from state custody and from a state-owned hospital to qualify as a state-designated facility. This is the same bill as House Bill 4981, which passed 93-0 earlier this year. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result. On that question, there were 96 ayes, 0 nays, and 3 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 650.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title is read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. Gentleman from the 1st.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to make the bill effective from passage.
The question is on the motion that the bill take effect from passage. Those in favor of the motion will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 96 ayes, 0 nays, and 3 members absent. 2/3 of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill effective from passage. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 694, removing county residency requirement for county superintendent of schools.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, Gentleman from the 77th, Doggett Statler, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee substitute for Senate Bill 694 modifies the residency requirement for county superintendents. Current law requires a county superintendent to live in the county they serve or in a contiguous county. This bill removes the statutory requirement and instead allows each county board of education to determine residency's expectations through the superintendent's employment contract. Excuse me. A county board may require the superintendent to reside within the county if it chooses. The bill also clarifies that a county board may prohibit a superintendent from working remotely and may establish any expectations to the prohibition through the contract. That is the purpose of the committee sub, and I urge passage.
Question now is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 72 ayes, 24 nays, and 3 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 694.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title is read where the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next, bill on third reading.
Senate Bill 712, allowing installation of cattle guards on certain public roads.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bill was advanced to third reading yesterday with an amendment pending. The clerk will please report the amendment.
Your Committee on Energy and Public Works moves to amend the bill. This is HEPW AM number 13-3.
The question now is on adoption of the amendment just reported by the clerk. Are there objections to having the amendment explained in lieu of having it read? If not, Gentleman the 10th, Douglas Anderson, to explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee amendment, as adopted, provided the Department of Highways may require signage to notify others of the cattle guard, and that the removal can be ordered by the Department of Highways, not just for the person who originally applied for the cattle guard, but also for their successors in interest. I urge adoption of the amendment.
Is there debate on the amendment? If not, those in favor of adoption of the amendment will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. Ayes have it. Chair declares the amendment adopted. Are there other amendments to the bill? If not, the clerk will please read the bill a third time as amended.
Senate Bill 712, allowing installation of cattle guards on certain public roads.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, Gentleman the 10th, Douglas Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill will allow the Division of Highways to permit the installation of cattle guards on certain public roads. The bill allows individuals to apply to the division for permission to install a cattle guard and to demonstrate a need for the same. Applicants would be required to execute indemnification agreements holding the state harmless from any liability arising from the installation of the cattle guard. Furthermore, cattle guards would be permitted only on local access roads, farm roads, and dead-end public roads. The Division of Highways is authorized to establish additional eligibility criteria and specifications for design and installation. Cattle guards would be installed at the expense of the applicant. The division would be able to revoke authorization for any guard it determines poses a risk to public safety or interferes with roadway operations. I urge passage of the bill.
You've heard the bill explained. The question now before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Gentleman the 4th, Douglas Flanagan, your vote's not registered. Clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. We had 96 ayes, 0 nays, and 3 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Senate Bill 712.
Are there title amendments?
Delegate Anderson moves to amend the title.
The question is on adoption of the title amendment. Those in favor of adoption of the title amendment will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. The chair declares the title amendment adopted. The title as amended by the House will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next, bill on third reading.
Senate Bill 781, supplemental appropriation for Civil Contingent Fund, Fund 0105.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, Gentleman from the 12th Delegate Chris to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 781 creates a new line of appropriation within the Higher Education Policy Commission. The bill expires $23,983,793 from the Civil Contingency Fund federal grant/grant match surplus to the unappropriated surplus balance and appropriates $38,983,793 to line 6A, institutional deferred maintenance surplus. Mr. Speaker, I urge passage.
Question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. We had 82 ayes, 14 nays, and 3 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Senate Bill 781.
Are there title amendments?
Delegate Chris moves to amend the title.
The question is on adoption of the title amendment. Those in favor of adoption of the title amendment will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. The chair declares the title amendment adopted. The title as amended by the House will be and remain the title of the bill. Gentleman from the first.
Move to make the bill effective for passage.
The question now is on the motion that the bill be made effective from passage. Those in favor of the motion will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. There were 86 ayes, 10 nays, and 3 members absent. 2/3 of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill effective from passage. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. For the bills on third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 1060, providing West Virginia certified thoroughbred eligibility and increased restricted race caps.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Or are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, Gentleman from the 72nd, Delegate Riley to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The bill defines a West Virginia certified thoroughbred as differentiated from an accredited thoroughbred horse. The bill also removes a requirement that mares running in the West Virginia Futurity race must be bred back by a West Virginia accredited stallion. The bill also allows for thoroughbred horses to run in restricted races for purse money only. Finally, the bill modifies the funds which come from an interstate telecast licenses as well as an interstate track video lottery. Because the funds are distributed by the licensees in the industry, there is no fiscal impact to the state. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman from the 98th, Delegate Funkhauser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I request a Rule 49 consistent with the companion bill ruling previously on House Bill 5464.
Pursuant to the set of facts relayed to the chair previously by the gentleman in the 98th on the companion bill, it would be the ruling of the chair. The gentleman does belong to a class of 5 or greater individuals and is therefore eligible to vote on this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 1060 is a small business and live racing jobs bill that is budget neutral. The West Virginia Racing Commission issued 8,532 occupational permits in 2025, which this bill enhances opportunities for investment and employment. I speak to Senate Bill 1060 from a deeply embedded sense of history, one that permeates our state. It was in 1786 when the horse race was chronicled in Charlestown, West Virginia. It was organized by none other than Charles Washington, George Washington's brother. A lot of history has transpired since the last 240 years, and thoroughbred racing at Charlestown races and casino has become a focal point of the community. It anchors many components of the economy, and especially the agriculture and tourism economy, where our farmers of hay, straw, and other products are in great demand because of the demand created by horse racing. Generations of families, hardworking, making an honest living as farmers, are the heartbeat of West Virginia's live racing industry. From the Baird family in Hancock County, where Dale Baird was North America's leading trainer by wins for many years and is still second in history in that category, whose brothers and nephew also train at Mountaineer, to the Meehan family in Jefferson County, where on February 26th of this year, blacksmith Elias Meehan was forging horseshoes in the stable area at Charlestown and saved the life of a groom who had an emergency situation through administering CPR. Elias is 25 years old.
He's an EMT volunteer and comes from a family of blacksmiths whose mother is also a trainer. The results of the passage of Senate Bill 1060 will be found in increased investment in farms, the live racing ecosystem, and visitor spending with a direct impact on the racetrack and casino operations at racetracks. West Virginia racetrack and casino operations will produce more income for our state than they already do, and the live racing industries will be in a better posture to preserve and promote the agriculture and tourism economy and the real people, the real jobs, and the real impact they have in our communities. For sure and for certain, I urge passage.
Is there further debate on the bill? If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. We had 75 ayes, 21 nays, and 3 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares that bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 1060.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Further bills on third reading. If not, bills on second reading. Bills on first reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 426, preventing damage to underground facilities.
Gentleman the first.
Unanimous consent to postpone action 1 day.
Are there objections to postponing action 1 day on the bill? No objections are heard. The bill will be postponed by 1 day. Further bills on first reading.
Senate Bill 744, relating to critical incident review team.
Bill will be advanced.
Senate Bill 773, requiring Department of Health to report positive alpha-gal tests to CDC.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 1042, relating to ventilation of underground mines.
Bill will be advanced. Other bills on first reading. If not, leaves of absence. Gentleman the first.
For our colleagues, Delegates Dean, Gearhart, Brian Smith.
Are there objections to leaves of absence being granted? No objections are heard, and those leaves of absence will be granted. Introductions. Gentleman the 55th, Douglas Akers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just quickly, the gallery in the West Gallery, my wife, Mary Claire, and our oldest daughter, Catherine, who's here for a few days for college spring break, are visiting. We had Senate Bill 928 in the agenda today, which was relating to the manufacture, sale, and distribution of low-proof spirit alcohol products. I asked Catherine if she had thoughts, and she told me she had no idea what I was talking about, which is the perfect answer. Love you, sweetie.
Gentleman the 57th, Douglas Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is Kanawha County Day, so if you have a chance, go to the Lower Rotunda, see some of our wonderful services and entities and business we have in Kanawha County, and give it up for the greatest county in West Virginia.
Are there further introductions? If not, miscellaneous business. Gentleman the first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Subject to announcements, I move the House recess until 5 p.m. this evening.
Are there announcements? Gentleman the 72nd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Finance will continue their committee meeting Monday, March 9th, today at 5:30 p.m. in the House Finance Committee room. Also, your Committee on Finance will meet tomorrow, Tuesday, March 10th at 9 a.m. in the House Finance Committee room. The agenda will be posted. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman the 41st, Delegate Maynard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Judiciary will resume the agenda immediately following floor sessions today in the Judiciary Committee room. Also, your Committee on Judiciary will meet tomorrow, Tuesday, March 10th at 9 a.m. in the Judiciary Committee room. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman the 39th, Douglas Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Standing Committee on Government Organization will meet today at 1 p.m. in the Government Organization Committee room. The agenda is posted. Republicans will caucus at 12:45 in the chair's office. And your Standing Committee on Government Organization will meet tomorrow at 1 p.m. in the Government Organization Committee room. The agenda will be posted, and Republicans will caucus at 12:45 in the chair's office. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman the 92nd, Douglas Height.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Health and Human Resources will meet today, March 9th at 3:30 p.m. in the Health and Human Resources Committee room. Republican members will caucus at 3. Also, your Committee on Health and Human Resources will meet tomorrow, March 10th at 3:30 p.m. in the Health and Human Resources Committee room. Republican members will caucus at 3. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman the 43rd, Douglas Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Standing Committee on Education will meet today at 1 p.m. in the Education Committee Room. The agenda is posted. Your Standing Committee on Education will meet again tomorrow, Tuesday, March the 10th at 1 p.m. in the Education Committee Room, and the agenda will be posted.
Gentleman the second, Douglas Atesalo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Standing Committee on Energy and Public Works will meet today, March 9th at 3 p.m. in the House Judiciary Committee Room. The agenda is posted. Also, the committee will meet tomorrow, March 10th at 3 p.m. in the House Judiciary Committee Room. The agenda will be posted. Thank you.
Further announcements? If not, the question is on the motion that the House recess until 5 p.m. this afternoon. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. The House is in recess until 5 o'clock. House will please be in order. Clerk has standing committee reports.
Your Committee on Finance has originated House Bill 5689, Supplemental Appropriation, Department of Homeland Security, and reports the same back with recommendation that the bill do pass.
Gentleman the first.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Unanimous consent to take up the bill for immediate consideration and have it read first time.
Are there objections? Clerk will please read the bill first time.
House Bill 5689, Supplemental Appropriation, Department of Homeland Security.
Bill will be advanced.
Your Committee on Finance has originated House Bill 5690, Supplemental Appropriation, Adjutant General. Reports the same back with recommendation the bill do pass.
Report will be received. Gentleman the first.
Unanimous consent to take up the bill for immediate consideration and have it read first time.
Are there objections? Clerk will please read the bill first time.
House Bill 5690, supplemental appropriation, adjutant general.
Bill will be advanced.
Your Committee on Finance has originated House Bill 5691, supplemental appropriation, Department of Health, and reports the same back with recommendation the bill do pass.
Report to be received. Gentleman the first.
Unanimous consent to take up the bill for immediate consideration and have it read first time.
Are there objections? Clerk will please read the bill the first time.
House Bill 5691, supplemental appropriation, Department of Health.
Bill will be advanced.
Your Committee on Finance has originated House Bill 5692, supplemental appropriation, State Road Fund,
Message.
and reports the same back with recommendation the bill do pass.
Message will be received. Gentleman the first.
Unanimous consent to take up the bill for immediate consideration and have it read first time.
Are there objections? Clerk will please read the bill the first time.
House Bill 5692, supplemental appropriation, State Road Fund.
Bill will be advanced.
Your Committee on Finance has originated House Bill 5693, supplemental appropriation, Department of Tourism Revenue, and reports the same back with recommendation the bill do pass.
Report will be received. Gentleman the first.
Unanimous consent to take up the bill for immediate consideration and have it read first time.
Are there objections? Clerk will please read the bill the first time.
House Bill 5693, supplemental appropriation, Department of Tourism Revenue.
Bill will be advanced.
Your Committee on Finance has had under consideration House Bill 5278, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Human Services, Division of Human Services from the unappropriated balance. House Bill 5280, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Commerce, Workforce, West Virginia from the unappropriated surplus balance. House Bill 5281, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Commerce, Division of Forestry from the unappropriated balance. House Bill 5284, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Human Services, Adoption, Foster Care, and Adult Services from the unappropriated surplus balance. House Bill 5285, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Human Services, Bureau for Social Services from the unappropriated balance. House Bill 5286, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Homeland Security, Division of Corrections and Rehabilitation from the unappropriated surplus balance. House Bill 5288, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Agriculture, West Virginia Spay Neuter Assistance Fund from special revenue. House Bill 5292, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Homeland Security, Bureau for Juvenile Services from the unappropriated surplus balance. House Bill 5297, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Health Facilities, William R. Sharp Hospital from the unappropriated surplus balance. House Bill 5301, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Human Services, CHIP, from the unappropriated balance. House Bill 5305, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Human Services from the federal funds. House Bill 5307, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Tourism, Division of Culture and History from the unappropriated surplus balance. House Bill 5311, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Homeland Security, Office of the Secretary from the unappropriated surplus balance. House Bill 5312, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Homeland Security, Division of Emergency Management from the unappropriated balance. House Bill 5313, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Administration, Office of the Secretary from the unappropriated surplus balance. Senate Bill 784, supplemental appropriation to Department of Human Services, Fund 8793. Senate Bill 785, supplemental appropriation to Department of Health, Fund 5163. Senate Bill 786, supplemental appropriation to Department of Human Services, Fund 5094. Committee substitute for Senate Bill 814, supplemental appropriation to State Board of Education, Fund 0313. Senate Bill 821, supplemental appropriation to Department of Administration, Fund 2367. Senate Bill 823, supplemental appropriation to Department of Revenue, Fund 7352. Senate Bill 825, supplemental appropriation to Department of Administration, Fund 0226. Senate Bill 831, supplemental appropriation to Department of Human Services, Fund 8794. Senate Bill 841, supplemental appropriation to State Board of Education, Fund 3951. Senate Bill 843, supplemental appropriation to Department of Health, Fund 5144. Senate Bill 868, supplemental appropriation for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. Senate Bill 871, supplemental appropriation to State Board of Education, Fund 3517. And committee substitute for Senate Bill 875, supplemental appropriation to Department of Commerce, Fund 8703, and reports the same back with recommendation that each do pass.
Report to be received.
Your Committee on Finance has had under consideration House Bill 5317, supplemental appropriation to the Department of Commerce, Division of Natural Resources from the unappropriated surplus balance, and reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Finance has had under consideration Senate Bill 826, Supplementary Appropriation to Division of Natural Resources Fund 3211, and Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 828, Supplemental Appropriation to Department of Human Services Fund 5090, and reports the same back with amendment. The recommendation each do pass as amended.
Report to be received. Other standing committee reports at this time. If not, Senate messages.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed without amendment Committee Substitute for House Bill 4464 relating generally to underground facilities damage prevention.
Message to be received.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed without amendment Committee Substitute for House Bill 4599 relating to the West Virginia CARES background check variance process.
Message to be received.
Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed without amendment House Bill 4730 developing a continuum of independent living and transitional support services for youth aging out of foster care.
Message to be received.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed without amendment Committee Substitute for House Bill 5458 relating to professionals to be licensed by the West Virginia Board of Medicine.
Message to be received. Miscellaneous business. Gentleman the first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Subject to announcements, I move the House adjourn until 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Are there announcements? Gentleman the first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Rules Committee will meet tomorrow morning at 10:45 a.m. in the Speaker's conference room.
Are there further announcements at this time? If not, the question is on the motion that the House stand adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The House is adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow.